Shailesh Chandra, the MD at Tata Motors Passenger Vehicles and Passenger Electric Mobility on this World EV Day. He says that more competition in this space is actually welcome since that would build consumer awareness. Listen into a slice of that exclusive conversation.
So if you just see the last 3-4 years journey of electric vehicle industry, especially in the context of cars, in FY19 this figure was 2000 was the annual sales of electric car. In FY22, which is the last financial year which ended in March, this went up to 22,000. This year, in the first 5 months itself, we have seen the industry already has done about 20,000, which means that industry is definitely going to be above 50,000 in this financial year. So just see the growth in the last 3-4 years from a 2,000 level to 50,000. The penetration in terms of the numbers that you're speaking might have gone up from 0.2. So it is seeing an exponential growth. It's still in the early stages of growth, but seeing exponential growth. Now 2030, whether it will be 30% or not, as the vision has been stated, I think it will totally depend on not only the role of the government, which I think government has been playing very well. They have defined a vision for the industry. They have set the policies which are supportive. So they have introduced the FAME program. Then they have a lower GST rate. State governments are coming up with customer incentive schemes. Charging infra is being promoted. So government is taking all the efforts to really move in that direction. The issue earlier was, in the last 3-4 years, that there were lack of players who were entering in the electric car segment. But having seen the motion in the last 3-4 years, most of the players have announced their plans to get into electric vehicles. So in the second half of the decade, you are actually going to see a lot of launch actions in the car segment. As more and more cars are going to come at different affordability points and different body styles, people are going to then significantly you'll see the increase in consideration of the customers for electric vehicles. And once that happens, then the entire ecosystem also starts developing around that. Deeper level of localization, more, charging infra, expanding across the country. And once those barriers are gone, I think 30% from a demand perspective, I don't see will be an issue by 2030. The issue will be more on how the whole ecosystem and supply side ramps up to match the demand which will be there. So I believe that 30% is quite possible.
Well, absolutely. But you did touch upon the new players entering the EV car segment. Tata Motors is a leader right now. It's been more than 2 years of journey for you, and it's over 40,000 Tata Motors cars on the Indian roads. But with more leaders entering, where do you see your market share panning?
As I said, this is very early stage or very nascent stage of evolution of the electric vehicle industry. If, let's take theoretically, if I would have been alone till 2030, I would not have grown to the extent I can grow with more competition coming in, because ultimately the demand creation depends on the high level of consideration and awareness of customers around the category. That only comes when you have multiple options available in the market. When the ecosystem gets a chance to develop, on the base of these number of models and the demand growth that happens. So I believe that when the competition comes, as more and more choices come, we have seen in ICE world also. In certain segment, if you are the only player, the extent of volume that you can do is less when more competition comes in a growing segment. Since electric vehicle is a growing segment, there is going to be an overall benefit to the incumbent from a volume growth perspective when more competition comes. So competition is actually a welcome step for us from our point of view, because it will allow us to grow our volumes faster. Market share will come down. That's not our obsession or concern. Whether my market share remains intact at 88%, 90%, we can be 100%, but it cannot be sustained. So, and that's not very important. The important thing is that electrification as a category grows, and we grow fast in that category.
Mr. Chandra, in EV infrastructure, Tata as a company is not just present in cars, but have been expanding the whole ecosystem in India. In next 5 years, what's your vision regarding that? Because EV charging point is not such that you have to set up a petrol station. We are finding in the malls, in garage, everywhere. What's the next vision on that front?
So see, as far as charging infrastructure is concerned, few years back it was always discussed as a chicken and egg situation, right? And to overcome that, what we did is that we collaborated with another Tata company, which is Tata Power, to synchronize our efforts. So if I was launching my cars in 7 cities, we said that you also focus on those 7 cities, so that we overcome this chicken and egg issue. So I know how much I am going to sell, how many chargers will be required, and in which cities it will Tata Power chargers will be utilized the most, because we know where we are selling the car, where our cars are moving. So that is how we started the journey. Now as we move forward, now that issue is less, because now the charging infrastructure players are also gaining confidence. With 50,000 cars on the road, and in the coming years, as you are seeing every year, it is multiplying twofold, threefold. There are new players emerging. You have seen a lot of local players emerging in different parts of the country. So I believe that charging infra will significantly expand primarily on the highways, I would say, because there is where the need is. Because as far as city use is concerned, you are doing it absolutely well using your home charging solution. 97% of the times people are charging at home. So that will be the predominant mode of charging when you are using it for city purpose. So the focus of charging infra is going to be on the highways. Home charging solution will play the crucial role. I would say for most of the time people will charging at home. Societies will be more open to enabling their premises with more electric chargers and all, including, I would say, the common charging point. Today in a lot of societies in Delhi, Bombay, Pune, we have already installed about 100 smart chargers, which is a common charger for all the people in that society. You have an app, you can charge your car using that, so you don't need a dedicated parking therefore. So this will also, home charging within the premises, giving common charging solution to the society, people who don't have dedicated charging, and expansion of public chargers on the highways. I think this is what you're going to see in the next 5 years. And I would believe that in the next 5 years, the charging infra across the country should reach about 30,000, 40,000, which is currently right now 3,000, 3,500. So that is what I believe.
Multifold expansion there. But my last question is on the prices, because when we see an EV and an ICE engine, there's still some price differential over there, which is not there in the two-wheeler segment, at least per se. But when it comes to the passenger vehicle segment, with more players entering, with the market expanding, do you expect this price differential in India to shorten down?
There are 2-3 factors which are playing around. Right now you would see the battery prices have increased, right? Yeah. And this is a short-term phenomena. Long-term secular trend is going to be downwards. Overall component cost will come down as there is an acceleration of electric vehicles in big markets like Europe and all. So the cost of overall components is going to come down for electric vehicle. That's one significant part which will bridge this gap, as you were saying. The second big factor is the emission norms for ICE vehicles are becoming more and more stringent, which means that with every emission norm change, you will have to add one or more new technologies to meet those emission norms, which will make the ICE car costlier. So on one side, the ICE cars are going to become costlier and EV cost is going to come down. So there is going to be this gap which will keep on, narrowing down. The choice for OEMs will be whether I bring down the price or I enhance the range of the car. And we'll play both the, it depends on, somebody wants to just use in the city. They would like to have a car which is of adequate range, but somebody who wants more freedom, flexibility will go for higher range cars. As you have seen, we have done for Nexon. There's a Nexon Prime, which is a medium range car. Then you have a Max, which is a higher range car. So we'll play on both these options. But yes, you are right. The factors which impact the price going forward for ICE and EVs are playing out in a way that the gap is going to narrow down.
Well, yes, we look forward to that, and thank you so much for joining us today at ET Now on this World EV Day, and we look forward to Tata Motors growing even more and having more penetration when it comes to India EV ecosystem. Thank you.
It was a pleasure interacting with you and wish you a happy World EV Day.
Thank you so much.